Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our August monthly customer training. In this training, we're going to be covering our new family intake wizard. So, we were released the wizard back in June, and since then, we have made multiple enhancements. What I'm going to be showcasing today has not yet been released, but will be very soon. So, please look for the email communications on the release information. So in today's training, we're going to take a look at what the Family Intake Wizard is and how it can be used, how to get access to the wizard, and last, how does it work? During the training, if you have any questions, please feel free to send your questions using the Teams chat function, and I'll be able to answer your questions. As always, our trainings are recorded and will be posted on our Salamander YouTube channel. So what is the Family Intake Wizard? So the Family Intake is a interface in SalamanderLive that simplifies and streamlines the entire intake process for individuals and families that are seeking shelter and services. So the interface provides a user-friendly workflow that allows your staff to quickly and efficiently register and print IDs for all family members, their equipment, and animals. So access, how do you get access? So the Family Intake Wizard is only available through a Salamander Live civilian account and is included with a standard Salamander Live subscription. So once you're subscribed to a civilian account, access to the Family Intake Wizard is managed through security user permissions. Under roles, a user must be assigned the Family Intake role. With this role, it gives a user access to the Family Intake Wizard and then the various areas that are needed to create, read, update, and print for people and equipment records. Now, when we talk about animals, in this case for registration, they all fall under people. So that's where you're going to find where any animals are going to be attached. Let's go ahead and take a look at Salamander Live. So first, with permissions, so I'm going to go under security users, take a look at the roles themselves. So in here, simply when you are subscribed to a civilian account, our operations team will assign you the administrator role and then also a role for family intake. From there, you can assign that family intake role to any of your users. So within the security user details, first things first, the user must be assigned Salamander Live as a product. From there, you can assign them other various features and solutions you've purchased. Like for example, this account also has Events Pro, also has the visitor management tool and the track app. So you can assign what you need to. But what's needed for family intake is just Salamander Live. From there, underneath roles, the user must have a family intake role. So family intake, if you click on the role permissions, you'll scroll all the way down to the wizard section and you'll see a section called for or permissions type called Wizard Family Intake. And you'll see all of those selected across the board. So we've done some coding on the back end, even though it's for family intake, it allows them to create, read, update for people and equipment records, as well as for events. From there, to go to the wizard itself, it's simply within the wizard section. So again, you have to be under a civilian account. We've created this banner at the top left within the menu, lets you know that you're within your civilian account. From there, click on wizards and you should see family intake. Simply click on family intake and it's going to take you into the wizard. From here, you got two different ways to start utilizing the family intake wizard. So you have the option to add a new family or search for existing individuals that you've already registered in the system. So I'm just going to go through the process here of the form of registering a new family. Simply click on Add New Family. So this form is to expedite that intake process. So when you're entering information. So at the top is basically creating the family information. So first things first is event name. Are you looking at tracking and accounting for this individual or this family within an event? One thing that you'll need to know is that in order to select event, you have to have the event running. And again, this is in a civilian account. So this event list is pulling from your event database within your civilian account. So I already have one created called FRC. So I've got a Family Reception Center event running. I'm going to select that. From there, you can enter in the total number of family members you're looking at registering, as well as number of animals and number of equipment. Now, since we selected an event, as I create the different family members and animals um, and equipment, you'll see that there's an area for me to select the different assignments in which each family member, the animals, and the equipment are going into. So you'll see there's a total of 12 that you can do for each at one time. If it's a larger family, you can create another family and then you can link or associate those family members together. And I'll talk about that. There is an option for you to scan as well too. So this is scanning that very first person to create that think of it as the head of household. So I'm not going to scan today only because this also gets posted to YouTube, which would then put my personal information on there. But one thing to know about scanning, it's the exact same setup when you're looking at setting up scan mode. So in this case, you'll have to go in and configure your scanner. So you'll have to set the scanner to factory defaults, let it reset, and then scan the USB CDC host barcode, which would then turn your USB scanner into a serial port. From there, all you do is connect. So all you have to do in this case, let me just move this over here. Let me just pop that in, is plug in your scanner and then simply click the QR code. It's red. Once you click on that, it's going to open up the serial port. Click to connect. And then you'll see that now it's green and you'll see at the top, you're now in scan mode family intake. When you scan a driver's license, it's going to fill in the family name as well as the pre-event address of the individual you scan, so their home address, as well as their first name, last name, and then their birth date. So that's what's going to fill in and be pulled in from the driver's license. So from here, since we're not going to be scanning, we're going to manually enter in the information. All you do is enter in the family last name. When you enter in the family last name, it also fills it out for all the other family members. So again, it's to save data entry time. You have the option of entering a family email. If you enter in the family email as well as the phone number, it also fills it out for all the individuals within the family. And then a phone number. And then what's required is the people type. So you'll see that you have a long list. You can select it from the list based on the intake or the environment that you're registering people for. So in this case, I'm going to do an evacuee. You do have the option for entering a shelter name. This goes into the station field. So the shelter name is going to go into station field for the actual personnel record. We currently do not have method of transportation or family primary language activated yet. That will be in a future release. From here, you can enter in family notes. When you enter in a family note, that also enters it for each individual. So I'm just going to write in test right there, and you'll see as we go through, you'll be able to see that it's entered there for the individual note as well. Pre-event address, again, this could be the home address of the individual. It could be, where that person was coming from. So I'm just going to enter in an address. Again, this uses geolocation, so it's pulling up Google Maps. If it finds a match, select it, and just like all our other address fields within Salamander Live, it's going to auto fill in the city, the state, and the zip code. And then post event address. So if they are being moved into out of the shelter and into a temporary location and you want to collect that data, if you have that data today, you can enter that in. Again, auto fills in the information. From here, you have your different areas. So you have an individual, and you'll see individual 1, individual 2. So it depends on how many people that you add at the top here for family members. So if I did 4, you'll see I have 4 individuals. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, where you can enter in the information for each family member. I'm going to change that back to 2. So here it is. You're just going to enter in that first name for that first person. Again, it doesn't matter if it's the head of household when you're doing a manual entry, everybody is going to be linked and associated. And how you do that is through the family association field right here. Age, arrival date, departure date, and can translate to English. Again, future release, so those are all grayed out, but you do have the option to collect a birth date. And then the assignment, you'll see that is in red since we selected an event at the top here. It's requiring you to enter in an assignment name. Now, if you did not select an event, let's say we just didn't, this is not being tracked within an event, you'll see that the assignment name now turns gray, which allows you not to select it. You can go back and select that event. It's going to pull down all the assignments that I have within this event. So in this case, I'm going to select on survivors right here. So again, it just depends on the assignments you've added to your event currently. You'll see that the phone number filled in as well as the email from the family section at the top here. So if the phone number or the email is different, that's where you can enter in something else, which we'll do for individual 2. But in this case, family association. So we want to link the individual family members. So in this case, we're going to add a family association. So we're going to put this one as spouse. Any allergies, medications, go ahead and add those in. So I'm just putting here heart med. Individual number 2, you'll also again see that the last name is filled out there with primary phone and email. If the last name is different, just simply delete the information and enter in that person's last name and first name. Again, if you want to collect the birthday, again, completely optional. From there, select the assignment as well. Where is this person going within the assignment? And then you can update the phone number if need to. So if that's not her number and if that's not her email, you can enter what you need to in there and then also select the family association. So again, this is linking the 2 individual members together. If you have an individual note in this case, so this was the family note, goes for everybody, but if you have an individual note, you can add that individual note in here as well. So for example, if this person has an inhaler and you want to write in there that they've have asthma, you can write that in there. And the family note as well as the individual note will be saved within that person's record. So just this person, Belinda Care. Okay, so again, if you have allergies you want to put in there, you can write that in. Below that, you'll see that there is additional sections because I selected those. So I also have 2 family animals as well as family equipment that these 2 individuals want to register. So in this case, I can expand. You'll see that they are in this bright teal color. So I'm going to expand that area. You'll see the animal last name is taking it from the family, and then you can write in the animal's first name and the type. So if this, let's say if it's a dog, write his name in here. His name is Danger. He's a dog. I can put in the dog right there, or I can put the animal type over here as dog, or you can be specific. So You can put in here danger, black lab. And then again, the assignment. So let's say they're going to the animal shelter. So that's where I'm going to put that. And then you have an option for notes if you need to. So if you want to put in there owner, got what his name is already, Carl Care. Animal 2, since I selected a second animal, I can go in here. Uh, Black cat. And again, we have an area that now talks about people types. So if you're curious about that, I'll show that once we get to the event side. So you can see that even if you don't write black lab or black cat in there, you're going to see that it has the animal type will show under the people type so that you know that Luna Care is not a person, it's actually a cat or an animal. You'll see that. Okay. So you can, again, whatever notes that you want to put in here. And then you have equipment because we entered in 2 for equipment counts. You can enter in the equipment. So one thing about category, this is a selection. So this is based off of your current equipment and what you have in there for categories. So all I have is a couple different types of equipment in there, and all I have created is carrier and trailer. That is it. So you can always come back and create the category later, which will then assign it to this piece of equipment, which I'll show you. So I'm going to do a carrier in here. I'll just do dog kennel. And then you can assign it to who is this piece of equipment assigned to. So in this case, it's doing as if it's an inventory item, similar to that process where it's going to assign this piece of equipment to an individual. So later when we save this and it creates the record, you'll see when you go to dog kennel danger, you'll see that it's assigned to the person that you selected here. And then you also have to select the assignment. You do have the option of putting in the size, color, make, model, and a description for this piece of equipment. Just filling in some of this information. And then again, equipment number 2, you have your options. I'm just going to here, cat backpack. Assign it to the individual. Again, you can put your size in, your color, make, model. Okay. I'm just going to tie it to animals. Put notes in there if you'd like to. And you'll see at the bottom, this is again for a future release where you can select some of these different options down at the bottom here. But you'll see as you fill in all the information, make sure that everything that has an asterisk is filled out, which will then allow you to save. So you can just go back, double check the information as you're filling it out. You have all the requirements selected. Once you're done, decide if you want to print. So whichever computer you're using, you got to make sure that you have the print control software installed as well as a printer installed. And then have the specific designs that you're looking at printing. So when it comes to printing, it's recommended to use our civilian tag designs. So there's a bunch of them in there. There's landscape, there's a black and white, there's color, and then there's also a portrait in all different colors. The standard civilian designs can be requested by emailing support@salamanderlive.com. So if you were here for our training for the visitor management, it's the same set of designs. All it does is it takes the people type that you have saved within the person's record, and it uses that to print onto the design. So you'll see that if you selected visitor, this would say visitor. If you selected evacuee, this would say evacuee on here. If you selected migrant, it'll say migrant on here. So there's all these different designs. Now for organizations that are using custom tag designs, the civilian tag designs will need to be imported using ID Designer. Again, please contact support at salamanderlive.com for the civilian design files. So design files, I'll show you what those are. I'll pull up my user guide over here. So here they are. So you have your different options in this case. So there's a 1x10. So this is the wristband design. Again, dependent upon what you selected for the people type. You'll see E on there for evacuee, C for civilian, V for visitor, M for migrant, and so on and so forth. You'll have an issue and expiration date, your QR code that you can use to start scanning for tracking accountability. We have a label design. This is new. It's a 2x2 civilian design. So you'll see that again, the type of personnel at the top there, their name, issue expiration date, and then the QR code. So this is a label or sticker design. And then you have your hard cards. So there's two types. There's a portrait and landscape. So we do have a black and white one. This is best if you're not collecting and taking pictures. It's a one-sided black and white card. All of the hard cards are one-sided. There's no backside to any of these. So black and white with no picture, and then if you are taking pictures, you have colored options. So there's a blue, a green, a red, an orange, and then a yellow. And you'll see all the different options that's printing at the top there. Again, you got a QR code, their picture, their name, issue, and expiration date. Now, if you selected a colored version, just know that if you don't upload or take a picture, you'll just have this spot right here that's just going to be blank. I have a sample which I can show you what that would look like. So that you can see. Let's do, of course, that one has it. Oh, let me go to my other design files. So it just looks just like this. So there is no picture. Again, still very usable, but just no picture there. And you can scan that QR code into any of our tracking applications. So you can scan it into Salamander Live, Rapid Tag, Command if you're still using that, the track apps, inventory app. So those are the designs. So in this case, you'll have that there's 3 check boxes at the bottom. You can, by default, all 3 are selected. You do have the option to not print any one of these if you prefer not to. Okay, so let me just go through. I saw a couple questions come through. What about government? Um, so Lisa, uh, family intake, similar to visitor management, is only available on a civilian account. So if you currently only have a government account for Salamander Live, yes, you will have to purchase a separate account, which is a civilian account set up to just capture civilian information. So they're separate for a purpose. Let's see here. Government or nonprofit type or function for a shelter. Yes. It's to keep the database separate. You don't want all your civilian, like your evacuee information within your same government database. That's the reason why there's a separation between that. You can get the two, and if you're managing, which we'll talk about when we get to the event side, when you're looking at managing an event where you have, staff and personnel from your government account and that's working an event, again, that's true accountability is tracking those that need help as well as those that are providing the help. You can do a run an event and then have them merge together so you can track all your evacuees or all of their families and individuals in a civilian count as well as with your personnel and staff. So I'm just going to leave all three here just to show you what happens. So when you're creating the record, I'm going to click create. You're going to see this little pop-up on here. It's very important that you do not refresh or leave this screen. You got to make sure that it waits because it's creating all records. So again, I have 6 records in here. So it's creating 6 records. Not only that, it's linking and associating all the records together. So it goes through the entire process. Not only that, I have it being checked into an event. So you can see it's going to take a little bit. Once it's done, you'll see it says family intake created successfully. You click OK. So since I selected to print individuals, animals, and equipment, once I click OK, I'm going to see them pop up. So it's popping up on my secondary monitor. So I'm going to move that over. So I'll show you what it does. So I'll put it in the order that it pops up. So you're going to see that this very first one pops up. So this one here, the very first one that pops up again, it's going to appear at the bottom because it's going 1, 2, 3 like this. So the first one is going to be the equipment one since it's at the bottom. But again, you can pick and choose what you want to print first depending on what type of printer you have installed on your computer. So just know that if you choose to do wristbands for animals and people, know that we do not have a wristband designed for equipment. So you're gonna need to have 2 separate printers installed on that computer. One that's printing the 2x1 labels, if that's what you're choosing, and then another that's printing wristbands. If you choose hard cards are available for all 3 types of designs. You only need one printer connected, which is your hard card printer. So again, it depends on your media that you're looking to print. So this is the order. Again, I can pick and choose what order I want to print. So if I choose to print equipment first, just know that equipment, and then you'll see that the second one is animal. Even though it says people, again, all animals are placed in here under the personnel or people database. And then your very first one that pops up is going to be your actual people. So we'll just do it in that order. Okay. So again, equipment, select your printer that you're looking at printing to for equipment. Select your designs. So this is pulling up our standard designs. That's what I have on here. If you have any custom designs, those will populate in here as well. Select that design and then click print. You'll see the print spooler is going to go. It's going to run. Finish that first, have that finish. You'll see the print spooler go. You'll see it appear at the bottom there. I'm printing to PDF, so it's going to have another screen that pops up for me to save this PDF. So there it is. So I'm just going to do cure, equip. So I know that's just equipment. I can showcase that. Second one is going to be animal. So once that's done, I can just go in there. Oh, I must have done it twice. Okay, so that's for the second piece of equipment. Oh, 2. And then I'm going to do my animals. So select your design. So this one might be a black and white one. So portrait black and white. Decide on the issue and expiration date if you want to have that printed. So I'm not going to put an expiration date. I'll just have the date this card was printed. Okay, it's going to go to PDF, click print. Again, wait for the print spooler and for this to print, and then print your last, which is individuals. And then last is people. Click print, and you'll see the print spooler pop up, and then you can again, they'll send it to your printers. In this case, it's sending to PDF. And then you have your designs. And then since you click create, you'll see that it brings you back the intake form where you can now register the next family or the next individual. So that's the process. It just creates it. If you choose to print, prints it off. Once you're done, create the next family. So you're just going through the process, going through and quickly trying to expedite that registration process for every single one. You can leave the scanner up here on. It doesn't turn off unless you disconnect. So if the next person comes in and they have their driver's license, you can scan that driver's license to just at least fill in some of the base information. And then from there you can build on. So any questions with the the registration of the family, whether that's family members, animals, or equipment so far? I'll populate the designs here. So there's Fido, the dog, and there's Victory, the cat, bird. That was my other one. This is the black and white design I chose for the animal. So then you have your options there. Here's the equipment. Oh, if I can select the right one. And then you have dog. The 2x1 is what I chose here. And then the cat backpack. So once you have them registered, if you're looking at it um, editing or viewing the family themselves, so all you need to do is you can cancel this to exit out of the form. Brings you back to the main family intake form. And this is where you can search the family now. So in this case, if I want to search that family I just created, I can go in there, type in their last name, they're going to pop up. So this family, they're all connected because when I created that family, I associated them together. All the animals, when you're selecting that person and the owner for them, that's where it's going to populate in here. You'll see that there's no equipment on this case. It does not populate because it's just searching for the people. So I'm going to select Carl. I'm going to submit. Once I select him, I should see the entire family, including the equipment. So you'll see under individuals, here's all the individuals. So these links right here are actual active links. So if I click on it, it's going to take me into Carl Care's personnel record, so his people profile. This right here is the event and their current assignment. So if I click on this, it'll redirect me to the events page. I entered in birth dates and primary phone numbers. That's why this data lists here. If I didn't, the data in here would be blank. You'll see that next to the individuals, there is a plus button. So you can add to this family if need to. It's a quick and easy way for you to add a family member. So if the Care family came, Carl and Belinda came first and let's say their son comes in afterwards, you can search for the parent, either Carl or Belinda, and then you go and click the plus button and then you can add their additional family members right from here. So let's say their son Henry comes in. I can put in Henry. I can register him quickly from here. Again, what is he? He's an evacuee. If I want to put his birthday, I can. If I don't, you don't have to. If you want to put him in the same event, you're tracking for it, you select that event. So I'm going to select FRC and then the assignment that he's going into. Okay, so maybe he is, maybe he's not a family, he's a visitor. So in this case, he's a visitor. You can put in here like he is in the waiting area or as he's a family and friend that's waiting to go see someone. So you have that option as well. So it just depends on how you're running the event, the assignments that you have, what your intake process looks like. So I'm going to put in waiting area for survivors. He's just waiting to meet his family. Maybe he didn't live in the area, he just flew in. Again, primary phone number, email, you have that option to collect that data if need to. And then family association. So this is important. If you want this individual to be associated to this family, you have to select an option here. Again, it's optional. You'll see there's no asterisk there, so it's optional. So you want to make sure that if you want to link them, make sure you select them. So I'm going to put here child, and then any notes that you want to put in here. So visiting Carl and Linda care. And then once you're done, click create. It's going to create his record and also going to add him into the event. So now I've added him. You'll see that his name is listed here within this family because I linked him. You'll see there he is. He's a visitor. And then he is in the assignment waiting area survivors. I didn't put a birth date, so that shows blank right there. Okay. Same process can be done for animals and equipment. So in the animal form, click the plus button. You'll see it's the same option in this case. First name, animal type, select the event, and then animal note. And then same thing for equipment down here. You have the same options. So similar to the form, but you're adding it directly to the family. From here, you also have the editing option. So how to edit, you can only edit one record at a time. So in this case, Henry, I want to put his birthday in here. I can click the checkbox next to his name. You'll see there is an edit function right here. Click on the edit pencil icon, opens up the edit individual form. From here, I can enter in the additional information. You'll see that age, arrival date, departure date, all this is grayed out. Again, future release, but I can put in a birth date in here if I want to now. And then I can add a new individual note. So this is not their existing notes. This is adding a new note. So when I go into their record, you'll see the additional notes added and who added it. And then of course the editing and deleting option if you are the creator of that note. So I click save and you'll see that it's going to update and then enter in his birth date. And then if you need to reprint, this is also where you can quickly reprint ID cards for any one of these. So simply click the checkbox. You'll see within the different areas, you have an edit pencil icon, and then you also have the printing. So that's how you can reprint. For equipment, when you do that, you'll see all the base information filled out already. You can, if you made a mistake and it's the wrong color or you had a description in there, it's a wrong description, you can enter that in. Okay, so that is reprinting, editing, and adding new family members. From here, I'll actually take you into the actual record so you can see this. So I'm going to click on Carl to go into his record. So I don't even actually have to go to people and find Carl. You can actually just click on his record right here. Click on the blue, and it's going to redirect you to his record. So here's his record. You'll see down at the bottom is his direct associations. So you'll see everybody that's in here. You'll see there's his child and all his animals and then his spouse. And then up at the top there are indirect associations. So this is just basically anybody within that tree who's associated to whom. So like for example, if I clicked on Belinda, you're going to see that her direct associations is only Carl, but she has an indirect association with all the animals since those were all connected to Carl. Same thing with Henry was connected to Carl as the main. If I go to Henry, clicking over here, you'll see that he has no direct associations and he just has the indirect associations. They're listed here because he's related, in this case associated to Carl, which then makes him associated to everybody else within that family. So that's how the family associations work here. So this allows you to navigate between all the different family members in this case. I can go to notes. There's my test note I created. Since I created it, I have the option to edit and delete the information. Since I printed a tag, you'll see the tag issued date right there and put an expiration date. So that's on the people side. If I go back, I can go back to family intake if I wanted to. I can go back in there. Now, just to note that anything that you make changes on here within the people profile, as long as it's a field within the family intake, it will update. It will update. So in this case, if I change his people type, it will change it on that family intake. Or if I went in there and changed his birth date, you'll see it's going to update. Or his email on this case, it's going to update. So I'm going to go back to family intake. I'm going to search care family again. Select any single one of them. Doesn't matter. I'll select Belinda this time. Submit. So all of them are there. So in this case, if I wanted to look at the event side. So again, to see the event side of this, it does require you to have event permissions. So I'm going to just click on this FRC survivors. It's going to bring me to my chart. This is where I was last at. Okay. So I have Events Pro turned on. So Events Pro is a additional feature that you do have to subscribe to that gives you the ability to manage your event from Salamander Live. When I say that, it's the additional functionality. So you have adding assignments, you have the ability to create a chart, you have the ability to add people, equipment, collections, and edit the assignments as needed. So that's what it gives you. It also gives you the ability to view the roster as well as add resource timers. So in this case, I'm going to just pull this up so it's nice and large. You'll see my par counts at the bottom here. I don't have any responders in this case. If I wanted to scan in responders and have specific assignments tied to that, I definitely can right through this civilian event. My total par count's 13. I've got 9 civilians, which includes animals. And then I've got my equipment in here. So in this case, if I go into my animal shelter, in this case, I click on the civilian icon, I can expand that. And you'll see that that's where it's going to show all the people as well as animals in there. Since I named them specifically, I know that it's a dog, I got a cat, I got a black lab, and then another black cat in there. If I go over here to survivors, I can expand that. And there's my people that's in the survivors group. And I've got one in waiting area for survivors. If you don't have the Events Pro feature, which does not give you access to roster, just know that you have another roster functionality within the chart. In the chart tab, you'll see that there is a full screen mode. If you click on that, you can actually see that you have a roster option right here, though it's just read only. So that's the only thing with this roster. What makes it different is that is read only. So if I click on that, it's going to just give me a list of everybody that's within the event, so my roster, and then the last update is always going to be at the top. But you can't do anything with this information. It just shows you this data. And you'll see in here that we have a new column in here called people type. So you'll see that, and then they'll call also you have the vertical type. So if they were a civilian account, you'll see it says civilian. If you also have responders in here, so those records that were created within a government account, you'll see it's going to say responder in here. But people type right here, and you'll see that we've got a personnel in there, we've got evacuee, we've got animal. So that helps out. And of course, you have a split screen here as well. That you can see the chart as well as your roster at the bottom. Exiting the chart full screen mode, just simply click on the icon again to the top left, that full screen mode to exit button as well as the access. If I go into my roster, you'll see that I also have that same people type in there. So difference between the two, this here, I can actually do a filter and a sort. If I wanted to sort A to Z, I can see who are my animals in here, evacuees and personnel in this case. Again, all these are clickable, which will take me into the records themselves. And of course, you have equipment in this case. So the equipment, which we have not talked about what it looks like, but I'm going to showcase that for you. So equipment in this case shows all the equipment, where they're at. Now in this case, it doesn't show who is the owner of that or who is assigned to. So in this case, if I click on this one right here, I'll just click on dog kennel danger. If I click on that, if I have access to that record, you'll see that it'll show assigned and who it's assigned to. So there it is, Carl Care and his organization. Any questions on the event side and how when you follow through the intake process, if you select an event, an assignment, it allows you to view that within the event. If you move people from assignments to assignments, so in this case, if you have Events Pro or the track app that you're using for tracking, you are able to move people from assignments to assignment. So in this case, I'm going to go back to my chart. I have Events Pro. I can move these individuals. Let's say they've been reunified. We're going to move them off scene. They're no longer at that center. I'm just going to go in here, select my person. So in this case, I've got my 3 individuals right here, just so you can see them. So got Chris, Clay, Cece. Okay, I've got some individuals there. If they're done and they're done visiting their family and they're gonna go home, leave the center, I can go in here, I can go to details and edit. I can move the individuals that are going off scene in this case. I can move them right from here, move them off scene. I can also scan if I had their barcodes, I could scan them off scene as well. So you do have that option. See, I've got their barcodes on here, so I'll just scan that to show you. Let me move it to my other screen here. Where did it go? Just larger here. So scanning, I have my scan is connected. I'm in verification mode, so I'm going to click to activate event mode. Scan the barcode. Okay. And you'll see there it is. Luna. Currently not in the event, but I can scan them into the event as needed. So this one had a barcode. Probably not the best example. Let me do one that's already in here. I'll do the person. So Belinda. Off scene. It's that. I can add the animals off scene if I wanted to. I'm going to move them off scene in this case, just so I can, those are clay. Oh, I'm in the wrong event. I apologize. It's my FRC event. I'm like, where are they? Where are all my people? Here they are. I apologize on that. Wrong event. Let me try that one more time. Linda Care. There it is. Assignment in survivors. I can move her off scene. Click the move button, which is this yellow orangey move to assignment button. Click OK. She's moved to off scene. I can also do that with their equipment. So Luna backpack. At the animal shelter, I can move them off scene. You can continue that scanning process. Same thing with animal. So this is Victory the cat, moving them off scene. I can close this out. If I go back to my family intake, you're going to see that they've changed assignments. Selecting the family again, submit. Before they were in the assignment survivors, and now you'll see Belinda is off scene. And then you'll see the cat backpack is off scene as well. And then I did Victory, cat, bird, so that's a different family. So if I go to the bird family, you'll see that Victory, the cat, bird is also going to be right there, off scene. Any questions on that process? So again, whether the person has access to events or not, as there's movements that's done out in the field using Track app or Salamander Live, they'll be able, as they're searching for individuals within the family intake interface, they'll be able to see those movements real time, as well as any sort of data edits real time as well. Any questions on the process and anything that we've covered today for family intake? Any questions? Any questions? All right. Well, in this case, if you are looking at tracking your families and individuals within the event, again, that same process for event management has come to play full circle. So make sure that as you're managing them in here, you'll be able to pull all the reports. So all reports are still available in here on the report side of things. You'll see all that data within this area here. And then as individuals are being moved in and out of the shelter, if they are moved out of the shelter or that center, just make sure that you are having everybody move off scene and then ending the event and closing it out. All right, everybody. I think that's everything I had on my list for the family intake. What is it? How it's used? Access. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out. I'm going to put my contact information up here. So here it is. Just email me at training@salamanderlive.com or email support@salamanderlive.com. You can call us at any time. This is our 24/7 number. You can reach any one of us here at Salamander and we can assist you with this process. If you're interested in purchasing or getting more information about a civilian account and the differences between a civilian account and a government account, please reach out to your sales rep. So your local sales reps can provide you more detailed information on the differences between the two and provide you a quote if needed. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for being a part of today's training. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful day. If you want to see this again, please come back and see me next week. All right, everybody. Thank you all. Take care.